I'm tired of all these MF and snakes on this MF and beach. Welcome once again to Survivor Squared, where we're breaking down Jake the Snake getting taken out in a med-evac, Jeremiah getting voted off, everything that happened in the third episode of season 49 of Survivor. If this is the first time you're watching this show, thank you. I truly appreciate it. Feel free to give us a like, give us a subscribe, help this channel grow. My name is Tony Squares. I have a wonderful co-host coming on in a second. Every week we are talking about Survivor 49 and beyond. And I am just starting my Survivor journey. This is the first time I've had a podcast breaking down episode by episode in long form to give you my thoughts as they happen. We will have guests. We've had guests already. We have a bunch of people coming on this show directly later on, having our first ever Survivor fantasy draft where we were supposed to draft 15 people. Now we can only draft 14. We're figuring it out on the fly, folks, but we are having a blast. And I am so happy that you're here to join us. But again, I cannot do this alone. I cannot break down a significant event such as this without a little bit of help, without my day one, without my ride or die. So please welcome back to the show my co-host, Bailey Buffs. Come on in, Bailey.
Hi, Tony.
You're sad. That sounded like a SpongeBob character.
I'll take it. I'm so sad. I cried this whole episode.
Absolutely. It was a terribly sad episode. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about Jake and what happened to the Blue Tribe and how they're now down to 2 members. Again, the fantasy draft is coming a little bit later with some more friends, and Bailey is part of this as well. She'll be drafting. But let's jump right in, Bailey. Let's jump right into the story of the episode. It was sort of forewarned in the coming next week of the episode 2 that we knew Jake was going to get bitten by a snake, and to watch it unfold. Bailey, you are the Survivor superfan. You've seen every episode of Survivor, whereas I am now just catching up. Has anything like this, with this level of behind-the-scenes footage, ever unfolded on Survivor before?
No. I mean, we've seen medical evacuations since season 1, season 2, but they've never gone so in depth as to literally show you the step-by-step process, seeing that entire team working on him and checking his vitals and really freaking out. Like, it was intense. Like, I've never seen anything like it on Survivor. It was really scary.
The scariest part to me was not only did he got bitten by a snake. It's a highly venomous snake that they learn out later. We'll go through all the intricacies of that. But then they cut after commercial to the boat coming in. They usually put the players on the boat and the boat sails off into the distance and we get a little recap later or maybe see them on a reunion show. No, we got this boat returning to another dock, and all the med team and producers and walkie-talkies. We've been on set before. We've been on places with cameras before. We're now seeing the people that get paid to put out fires in action right now. And the first thing we hear scared me. It went from this is a reality TV show to, oh shit, there's something really wrong here. The doctor asks, is he breathing?
Is he breathing? Is he breathing? Polo, is he breathing?
That shocked me to my core, Bailey.
Yeah. And asked multiple times, multiple people asking multiple times that was, and you hear the main doctor even say, we had him, he got bit by a snake 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And you just hear the urgency in these people's voices, knowing that like, if there had been venom released, he might have died. I mean, that's how they were making it sound. Like, it was hardcore. It was terrifying.
Yeah. Have to commend CBS and the producers and the people who edit this show for putting this together the way they did, because they very easily could have just given us the blank slate and be like, Jake, we got to see the birth of his son, but to show us all this stuff, to really have Jeff Probst in the base camp medical center talking to us and talking us through what's going on as Jake is being worked on behind him. It was harrowing, but it was also a dose of reality TV that was necessary and really made you feel the moment that as it was happening. And thank God we learned later it was just a dry bite. Thank God there was no venom out there. Thank God Jake is okay, was able to get home and see the birth of his son. But this was chaos, and this was, I think, expertly handled by both the people on the island, but also the production crew to show us and give us that slice of life here. How did you feel that we saw something that I didn't know existed, but the safety booklet given to each tribe, the little laminated booklet, that was something I never expected to see on TV.
I wrote that too. I was like, that was a little extra gift into the behind the scenes. Like, I knew that they had gone over, like, I know that they give them a safety lesson. I know they give them a little bit of an outdoors lesson before they go into filming, but I had no idea it was as like hardcore is having a book there of being like, hey, you need to know right away that if you see any of these animals, you are in danger. So I thought that was very thrilling to see that behind the scenes. It was breaking the fourth wall a little bit. I think there were multiple parts this episode that were breaking the fourth wall that, to your point, really did show some of the haters and non-believers that this show is real. These people are really trying to survive with nothing in their system. And I thought that was an interesting part of Jake's, recovery, quote unquote, as well, is that it wasn't just he got a bite and he had an adrenaline rush and thank God there was no venom, go back in. It was he's out exhausted, malnourished, dehydrated. Like he, under these conditions, cannot return back.
It's also the first time I can remember, because again, I am watching all of these seasons now. I got up to season 27. I actually just started season 28. And so I've seen a lot of things happen that people refer back to now. Like people refer back to certain med-evacs, people refer back to certain sections, like this is the only time this ever happened type stuff. And so far in my experience, I've never seen a producer on screen before Jeff Probst. And in this one, when Jake gets bit, the players are talking about it, and the first thing we see, and it says in the Cairo, producer is saying this to Jake, a guy who lives on the island with them to make sure the place doesn't blow up. Jeff can't be everywhere. And then they bring Jeff in and the boat and everything else. So it was interesting to me to see them just really rip apart the TV show aspect of this and say, okay, we need to really take care of this. And props to them for doing it.
The TV show came second. The human life came first. And I appreciate that so much.
Because when we went through season 49, we dove into this knowing that 2 players from season 49 went to season 50. Since we have started this show, those 2 names have been pretty much revealed. Not authorized, but pretty much everyone knows who those 2 names are going to be. And they weren't going to be Jake. And yet when we saw these first 2 episodes, it was very Jake heavy. And we were sitting there going like, man, this guy's going to have a run. This guy might go, a long way. And then at the merge, they'll take him out because he's a physical guy, but like they are setting this guy up to be a storyline of this season. How hard was it for you? Because I know you were a fan of him. I was as well to see him ripped away this quickly.
I mean, I think it's always absolutely heartbreaking when there's a medical evac. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. It's no fault of their own. It just sucks, plain and simple. I mean, it just sucks. I will say I really hope they'll bring him back for a future season because they did, feature him so heavily. I'm hoping that means they will have him rejoin because they've done that before in the past too of medical evacs. They did a whole season where one whole team, I think, was all medical evacuated players. So I really hope that he gets his chance, and I hope maybe that's why they were highlighting him so much, so he was ingrained into our minds so that if he does come back, we already remember him. But nah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. Obviously, if you try to look at the upside, he got to be there for the birth of his son. That's amazing. But I mean, you just saw the heartbreak on his face too. Like when Jeff and the head doctor were telling him that there's just no way. I mean, when he had to deliver that news to him and say it's not happening, and his just, oh God, it looked like his heart was being ripped out of his chest. It broke my heart watching.
There was a moment in that particular exchange where the doctor and Jeff are telling Jake, you are not going to be in this game. We are pulling you from this game. Jake obviously breaks down, but the first thing he does, they don't cut away. The first thing he does is he extends his hand to Jeff and thanks him for the opportunity.
Doctor's orders, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, Mr. Probst.
No, Jake, it's been a pleasure.
And that to me said everything about the man. Like
he's a stand-up guy.
I don't know anything about Jake outside of the 3 episodes I saw on television, but I know from that exchange that that's a stand-up dude, for him to immediately thank Jeff for the opportunity as he's going through all of these emotions. Yeah. It was tough. It was tough, and it took over the bulk of this episode and changed not only this episode, but the trajectory of the season, Bailey.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's a little rough now. I mean, what are you supposed to do when there's 3 members on your tribe and you're exhausted and you've just gone through all of this? I thought it was very interesting too. In past times where there's been a medical evaluation on the same day as a challenge, the team is always alerted first before they go to the challenge. I thought the team knew when they first got there on the boat to the challenge, and then it was made very clear that they were finding out that news at the same time as the rest of everybody. They were heartbroken. I couldn't imagine going into a competition right after receiving that type of devastating news. And like you said, the trajectory of that whole tribe is completely different now. And then it's like, okay, and go compete. Like, it sucks.
Even though they gave themselves a giant lead in this challenge, let's jump right into it. They gave themselves a giant lead in this challenge and break apart again because they cannot do the puzzle. You could see their mind just not working. They're not in the game because everything has happened to them so far. It was devastating to watch.
I thought it was very interesting, too, to watch the other teams. Like, that silence was palpable at the end of that challenge. I mean, it was just uncomfortable for everyone. And I'm glad we got to see a little bit more of Jason. I feel like this was the first time we got to see Jason do anything, was his little speech where he started crying and he was just like, I feel so bad. And I mean, I relate to that. I understand how some critics will think that it goes with everything's a little too kumbaya, but no, I just think there was a really real moment of just raw humanity and empathy, and we're just seeing that in real time.
Sophie, on the Blue Tribe, Sophie is not participating in the puzzle, and she goes from, telling people like, that can go here, this can, trying to help the best she can vocally, but they really pay a lot of camera time on her because she gives up, and gives up, not the right word. She realizes the reality of and everything weighing her down finally lands on her. And she ends up just sitting down as the puzzle's going on. And then when the loss actually comes on, like, no one celebrates because they know how devastating it is to this Blue Tribe that now has to vote off its third consecutive member and its fourth member lost overall. It was, again, I haven't seen all of Survivor, but I've now seen more than I haven't. And that's the first time I've ever remembered that type of a reaction during a challenge.
And talk about Sophie. I thought she almost kind of clapped back at Christina at one point. It looked like Sophie had something she wanted to say, and she kind of bit her tongue, which I was curious to see if that was going to be, because it must be hard to hear that, to hear everyone else that you're in a competition with openly talk about how they feel bad for you. That sucks. That sucks.
So I actually paused, or maybe we hit a commercial break and I checked how much time was left, and suddenly there's still 33 minutes of the episode left and we're past the challenge. We know it's 1 of 3, and I'm like, what, are they going to fill with some other stuff here? No, we spent all those 30 minutes really with these 3 people trying to figure out who was going to vote out who, with Alex's idol playing a big role in this, because
Huge.
It's pretty simply Jeremiah and Sophie, if they had their druthers, would have taken Alex out. And so the game is now, how do we trick Alex to using his idol or holding his idol and leaving? Or does Jeremiah flip on Sophie? Does Sophie flip on Jeremiah? Is this just Alex's choice who goes home? There were so many aspects, and Survivor, again, did a great job of showing us all of the levels of this social hierarchy. And my favorite moment, to commend the cameramen again, when Jeremiah and Alex are talking and they just do a quick pan and Sophie's in a tree watching them, spying on him.
I loved her spying on him. I wrote it down. I was like, yes, let's get another spy shot going. Come on, Sophie. It was so good. I loved that.
It was great. And she's blatantly there. It's not even
very obviously there. It was not well hidden. I mean, it was literally the tiniest little camera pan and she's just there, bright blue buff on too, not even inconspicuous at all.
It was comical. It was flat out comical. And we get down to it. We get down to tribal, and to their credit, all 3 of them, none of them attacked each other. None of them tried to say, you should choose me because I'm better than so-and-so. I really like Jeremiah saying Alex is a Libra, so you have to play him this certain way. I really enjoyed that way of thinking. Bailey?
Okay, as a fellow Libra, I was like, yep, he's correct. He's read me for filth. That is correct. That's how exactly I would react to it as a fellow Libra. He was so spot on. Tony, I genuinely thought for a hot minute it was going to be Jeremiah votes for Alex votes for Sophie votes for Jeremiah, an idol is used, everyone's pissed off at each other. And
wow, yeah.
I'm kind of happy that wasn't the case, but it was, it could have gone any way. I mean, there was a lot of ways and outlooks to it that they could have taken.
I am openly rooting for a few people in this game. Sophie is one of them. She has been fantastic to watch. She has been a friend of ours on the podcast. We hope to have her on eventually. So I was hoping that her day didn't end here. Thankfully, it did not. We had to lose one of them, and I have really, they've done a good job of showcasing this tribe a lot over the first 3 episodes, but I have really fallen for all 3 of these players. I did not want to see any one of them go home, but one of them had to. Alex votes for Jeremiah. Sophie also votes for Jeremiah. Jeremiah votes for Alex. Alex uses his idol because he still thought he was going home. I would have used my idol as well, my guy. I do not fault you for doing it. But Jeremiah leaves us because Sophie decides to correctly in some aspects. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if she voted for Alex, so she had to vote for someone to hopefully win that vote.
It was a smart decision for her to really solidify her place with Alex, too. I mean, I thought it made the most amount of sense, unfortunately, to flip on Jeremiah. She knew that sucked. That was her number one. But in order for her to stay in that game, that was her only option. So she did it.
Quite an episode of television. Some stuff happened with the other tribes. We'll be covering that when we do our fantasy draft in a few moments here. But I really wanted to focus on Jake and what happened to the Blue Tribe because this was the end of the Blue Tribe. We learn in the coming next week that we're dropping our buffs and we're going down to tribes of 2 at least. And so it'll be all moved around, all switched around, which will be definitely interesting to see how that works out. Our second season in a row, my first season watching was season 48, where after 3 episodes, they split to 2 because one tribe just gets decimated early. So I'm interested to see how this changes things because that changed the Joe Eva season so much when they switched those 2 tribes around. But before we move on to the fantasy draft and before we say our traditional goodbye to the person who's voted out, the torch that was snuffed out in Jeremiah, we always say goodbye in a very interesting, unique, and fun way. We did not deserve Jake deserve that treatment, though. So is there anything you want to say about Jake here before we move on to saying goodbye to Jeremiah?
I love you. I would dedicate my life to you. No, I'm just kidding. No, he really, Jake just seems like an awesome stand-up guy. I really wish the best for him and his family. I think he's going to be an amazing father. I think his father is still going to be very proud of him of what he saw. And I really hope that they bring him back for a future season. And I hope Sophie and Alex hold it down in his honor.
We need to have a conclusion to the Shoe Bandit saga. That's a definite.
I forgot all about the Shoe Bandit. I got so distracted.
Yeah, we need a conclusion to this Shoe Bandit saga. Again, I thought you represented yourself great, my guy, and I do hope you come back. And again, I think you should be proud of the short time we spent on Survivor. There's a lot of people on there that only last a couple of episodes, and they probably never want to see themselves on Survivor. You are quite the opposite. I think you held up your end of the bargain pretty damn well. But let's move on now, and we say goodbye uniquely to people who are voted out. We say goodbye in the only way we know how because it is just a game, and we do like to snuff out the torch here. We cannot snuff out torches on the podcast, but we can say goodbye to Jeremiah with this week's version of Survivor Gravestones.
Poor, sweet Jeremiah. You have the biggest heart. I'm so sorry your tribe has been cursed from the very start. I'll miss your astrology comments and your crazy villainous laugh, but I hope the blue team wins it all on your and Jake's behalf.
Great job. There's about 7 adjectives you use that I also used in mine, so we're just going to power through it. And it starts off, poor Jeremiah. Poor Jeremiah, disaster has struck. Your tribe was a mess, alliances done run amok. While your departure was muted, you didn't earn any brouhaha. Your impact will be everlasting, thanks to your villainous. And that is it for the recap of episode 3 of season 49. But just you wait, there's more to the show. We are having our fantasy draft come up next. We're bringing in 3 friends, 3 good Survivor super fans that are going to be drafting the rest of the season 49 participants. And we will be diving into what that means. Bailey, this is your first fantasy draft live on air. Are you excited for it?
I'm so excited. I'm so competitive. Let's freaking go.
We are playing by a certain amount of rules. I'll allude to them when we do the draft. If you want the full rundown of rules on how this Survivor Fantasy League will play out, because we'll be recapping it as we do every week on the podcast, they are written in the description of wherever you're getting this podcast, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, where have you. It will be in the description, the exact rules we are playing by, so you too can play along at home. I'm pumped. Let's dive in. Coming up next, the Survivor Sqaured Fantasy Draft.
Ooh.
And here we are now for the first ever, maybe the last ever, Survivor Squared's fantasy draft for season 49. We are down to supposed to be 15 people. Sadly, it's now 14 people, and you are going to see 5 figures up on this screen, 5 teams set to draft, mostly 3 players. That would have added up to 15. Instead, we'll figure it out on the fly as we go. Don't worry, there's always a plan up here. Bailey, welcome back to the show. Come on in. Are you excited again? Your first ever fantasy draft. Are you a little worried about the competition?
No, not at all. I got 25 years of this. I'm ready. My experience is going to lead me. My gut is going to help me, and I'm going to draft the most perfect fantasy team. I'm ready.
Well, the first person I want to bring on is the first competitor. He is the defending champion of this Survivor Fantasy League. He won last year by drafting Kyle in season 48, his champion. He has been my nemesis since I've met him, and now I've known him more than I've not known him. Alex Alche, welcome once again to the Survivor Squared Fantasy League.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here defending the crown. And, yeah, it's very, very interesting to see who I'm picking first. He might nine with Bishmad. We'll see.
It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you all who's drafting what. If you're looking for a point system, how we're going to play this, we're not just saying whoever picks the winner wins the Survivor Fantasy League. There's a whole point system, so every week we'll be able to update you all on the standings. If you're looking for the intricacies and the exactness of that point system, head to the description of wherever you're watching this. It's all listed on there because there's a lot to calculate. And I stole this idea from the husband of the next person taking part in our Survivor Squared Fantasy Draft. She is drafting not only for herself, but for her husband, Mr. TJ Wortham. He makes all the graphics and the thumbnails for this show, but she is the better half for a reason. There's a reason she's drafting this team, because she's going to be much better at this than her husband was last year, drafting a terrible team all put together. Aiden, come on down. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. You know, I'm kind of grateful I can't remember what our team was last year.
You did have Eva.
The memory isn't there. I did, yes. Okay, I remember that. I have no idea who else we had.
Yeah, and you will be coming in. I'm excited to see where you draft, because you guys always go for the social players more than anything. So I'm excited to see where that leads us. It could be the winner and the last person taking part in the Survivor Squared Fantasy League. He is no longer with us in the state of California, but rather is on an off-Broadway musical about a lovely time called Slam Frank. Welcome down to the show, Mr. Alexander Lewis himself. What's going on with Slam Frank, Lewis?
Yes, I'm in a new Latinx hip-hop musical called Slam Frank. It re-explores the story of the Diary of Anne Frank.
All right, I'm sure there's nothing hidden behind those words. Fantastic.
I'm glad to be back here. I really did terrible last season, so I'm very much hoping that this will be my triumphant comeback, especially since it's now in a public forum.
Very true. All 5 of us, as you can see on screen now, we're each going to draft 3 players, and all of these players are going to be scoring points for the entirety of season 49. So again, it's not just the winner that matters. You have to really put thought in for all 3 of your picks here, because what they do in season 49 will directly affect how well you perform. The biggest note I want to say, the biggest rule change that matters is, out of all the points you can get, journeys, immunity idols, anything you can throw out there, votes you write down, these points only count if your individual player makes at least the jury. So if they get voted off over the next few episodes, no matter what they do, see you later. No points for you. So these picks, again, only 14 players, 5 people, each drafting 3. If you can do quick math, that's 15. We only have 14 left thanks to Jake's sudden departure due to a snake bite. So, yours truly, since this is Survivor Squared, my name is Tony Squares. I have decided to beat these numbskulls with just 2 players on my team. I will be drafting Jeremiah as my 15th player, taking a 0 off the bat, and still will win the season 49 Survivor Squared Fantasy Draft. Alche, you're
Bailey,
shaking your head.
There is no, I mean, I'm so sorry that he is your co-host. There is nothing more annoying than Tony in a fantasy league, and you are experiencing it in real time. My God, the arrogance is palpable.
You can throw all these slights at me. The reason why they are so angry with me is not for my arrogance, but for my championships. And there are many of them hung on the wall behind me, as you can see right now. If you're watching on YouTube, there's nothing on the wall if you're not watching on YouTube.
Not in a Survivor Fantasy League, though, if I'm not mistaken. Am I
0 for 1. 0 for 1 in a Survivor League. There's a reason why I changed the rules with TJ to make it so not just the winner means you win this league. This is a point system, and let's dive in. The other reason why I'm so confident I'm going to win with just 2 picks is because, let's head into the draft. Yours truly has the first pick of the Survivor Squared Season 49 Fantasy Draft. I swear to you, this was done randomly, but Tony Squares comes up first. The order, it goes Tony, then Lewis, then Alche, then Aiden, then Bailey, and we snake back to the top. So without any further ado, let's break into the first ever and potentially last ever Survivor Squared Fantasy Draft. And the first pick, if you guys have been listening at all, if you guys have seen anything I put out there, you have to know what this pick is. And of course, it was cemented, especially after episode 3, when my man found a beware advantage and said he was going to use it for himself. The first pick is the man, the myth, the legend, R-I-Z-G-O-D, Riz God Baby. Bailey, how happy are you?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, we knew you were going to do this, so this isn't even, like, shocking to the fans or to us. We knew you were going to have that. We'll see. He ain't going to win.
Okay. Well, the number 2 pick, Lewis, I took Riz God from you. You are up next. Who are you going with and why?
First of all, Riz was, I just got to say, in my top 3. I was obviously hoping that somehow none of you would notice him. That didn't happen. It's between 2 very distinct personalities. I think I gotta go Nate. I'm going Nate. I feel like he's very adaptive. I feel like he's got a lot of really good strategy. He's not too small. I like that he's got, at least some physical components to him that I think could take him far in the game. If we're going off edit, I think he's gotten a pretty solid one. And then also, I think the guy just knows what he's doing. I was very impressed with how he started pivoting socially towards the younger players. And I feel like his acumen is strong. It's always hard to kind of make judgments like this off teams that have not gone to tribal council yet. But I have a good feeling about Nate.
I will say about Nate, and I should have led this off, we do know, based on the end of the last episode, that these tribes are no longer going to be a tribe of 3 anymore. We're splitting down into 2 tribes. And if you, like me, went through the coming next week frame by frame and saw who was wearing what buff on the screens that they showed, you may know what some of the tribes look like. Nate was very high on my list, Lewis. However, I do not know what tribe he is a part of after this split, so he kind of pushed it down because I want to be secure in who I'm taking, thinking they're going to make a run together. So Nate is the 2nd overall pick. Mr. Alexander Joshua Alche, you have the 3rd pick. Nate and Riz God are gone.
I like a little deviance, yet authenticity in my first pick. She was following and conniving, and then BAM! Grabbed it right away. MC, number 1 pick, faux show.
Oh, wow.
She was up there for me. That hurts, Alche. That one hurts.
And she's a fitness trainer. She's gonna win competitions. She's gonna be everyone's favorite teammate. And she's going to do some messed up stuff, which I'm really excited about.
MC is also, it's not known what tribe she is a part of. After this split, she could land anywhere. MC also has a beware advantage, so it could be interesting to see what that comes out to be. I like that pick. I'm so surprised someone hasn't been chosen yet, though. Bailey, it's getting close to you, so I don't want to ask you who you think should be chosen. We'll see if Aiden takes the certain person we're talking about. Aiden, who are you going with?
I think it's my man Steven.
Oh!
Wow.
That's what I like to hear from Tony Squares. He just seems likable enough where he doesn't really come off as a threat, but he's a little bit more behind the scenes, but not too aggressively.
Interesting. Steven, the rocket scientist, the man that can't stop talking in puns, the man that I would, out of all of the Survivor 49 competitors, probably last place in the power rankings of who I would get a drink with, but Steven is your pick in the 4th overall slot, and I can tell you, Steven, in his new tribe, is a part of the Blue Tribe, and I'm not going to tell you who he's with yet until we get to them, but no one's been drafted yet. Steven is alone on that Blue Tribe so far. Nate and MC, we don't know. Rizzo is a part of the Yellow Tribe, if anyone's keeping track. Bailey, you get a double dip here. I cannot believe someone has lasted this long
thrilled.
to you. So please draft 2 players in a row.
I would just like to let you know, I get 2 in a row. My number 1 and number 2 have not been chosen yet, baby. So My first pick, I can't believe no one has said her yet. We're obviously going Savannah. We're going
Yes.
Savannah.
Yes.
Duh. Are you
Yes.
kidding? They have been giving her such an edit. She is in the middle of so many things. She has established really strong relationships with Riz God, Sophie, Nate. Riz and Sophie were like hitting on her during the last challenge. They kept calling out all the things they loved about her. She is untouchable in my mind. So I am ecstatic. That is my first pick. Savannah, all the way. No doubt in my mind is going to make it to jury. And then my second pick, you watch it. My second pick, another just super strong contender. We have seen him do so well for his team. He has been an absolute powerhouse for them. I'm going Jason all the way, baby. I'm going the puzzle master for my number 2.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Jason is surprising to me. Jason is not high on my board, even with the Puzzle Master. We don't know what tribe Jason is a part of after this split. We do know Savannah is with Rizzo on the yellow tribe. And Savannah, that you said that was number 1 and 2 to you. Rizzo was 1, Savannah was number 2 to me. I'm very surprised they lasted too long. Bailey, you have the last pick as well, so you will be forced to take someone, but your first 2 could take you all the way. Savannah and Jason are 1 and 2. Aiden, we're back to you. Your first pick was Steven. Who will be pick number 2?
Number 2 is going to be Sophie.
Which one?
Which one? There's
Sophie
2.
Sophie. With the not the merge, but the breaking and redistribution, I think she's going to kind of fly under the radar, or at least get, finally catch a break as people start to take out other people from the yellow and the red as they've seen, and kind of leave her thinking she'll be safe, or she'll be not threatening yet, and then she'll kind of sneak her way in and make more relationships.
Aiden, I think that's a fantastic pick. She was 3rd overall on my board. I do think she is with Savannah and Rizzo as a part of this new yellow tribe. She will have a whole new leash on life. And I will say, just peeking behind the curtains a little bit, I've made a lot of Survivor content, not just this podcast, but videos I make on my channels. And I've interacted with some of these players, and I see what they're doing online. Sophie with an I is by far the most active on social media, directing people to say, go watch Survivor. You're going to love this. She would only be doing that if she had a little bit of a run in this show. She'd only be doing that if she ended up looking good at the end of it. She's a very smart girl, and I think she's making this a big deal. So, yeah, Sophie is a great pick. Next up, Alex Alche. You have MC. Who's pick number 2?
I'm going to pick someone who I would have never talked to in college because she's way too hot. I think the edit is tricky with her because she's currently on the outs, but I think that means she's going to be on the ins at some point. I'm picking Sage.
No way.
Oh, my God.
Bold move, and honestly, I like it, and I think there's something to be said for what you just said. I think they're giving her this edit like she's on the outs. I'm not buying it. I think she's going to find a way. She's smart. They had a moment, and they had a moment this past episode where she was really calculating, and I think that's a dark horse. That's a good pick. I like it.
And fun fact, her biggest pet peeve is the patriarchy, followed by people who roll their eyes when she says the patriarchy. So I don't know what that means, but I feel like she's going to be in for a while.
Alche, I got to say, you could have gotten her with your 4th pick in this draft. I don't think anyone else had Sage very high on their board. But hey, MC and Sage, that's definitely a choice with a team. You also, I do not know what tribe Sage is a part of. She was not in the edit for next week because the edit of this show doesn't care about Sage, because my take is she doesn't last very long. Next up, Alexander Lewis. You already have Nate with your first overall pick, who's partner number 2.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm really regretting not choosing Savannah. That was my other. I was like, I should just take Savannah but I don't know. For some reason, Nate felt more important to me in the moment. I think I'm gonna go. He's got my name. I'm going with Alex Moore.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like
was my next in line.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think he's going to win. However, I do think he makes the jury. I don't think that. I think he's going to make some new friends, and people are going to connect with him after this shakeup. So I think that he's got at least a couple more in him. He also did find an immunity idol, so I feel like there's something there. He's obviously got some sort of social prowess. Not as good as our boy Jake, but Yeah, okay. I feel good about this.
Alex is on the Blue Tribe next week with Steven, the only 2 Blue Tribe members we've drafted so far, and I am staying away from the Blue Tribe. That's been my whole, I'm hoping that this person fell to me because they're the only other person that's a part of the Yellow Tribe that was also a part of the Uli Red Tribe from the beginning. They have Rizgod, they have Savannah, and they have my second pick, Mr. Juwan Pitts himself.
Wow.
Come on down, Juwan. I'm only going off of this based off of I think these guys last a while, and the only way they last a while is if they win challenges early, a.k.a. make the jury and score me points. So R-I-Z-G-O-D, baby. And Juwan Pitts are the only 2 players on Tony Square's team, and we're going to take them to the top. Alex Lewis, it is back to you.
Wait, she has not been chosen, I don't think, the person I'm about to say. I'm just double-checking. Shannon Fairweather?
Yeah, Shannon's all yours.
All right, I'm taking her. And I'll tell you why.
You're a Fairweather fan, huh?
Well, here's the thing. I don't have that much confidence in her, to be quite upfront with you. But this is also the guy that chose Jelinski first a couple seasons back. Okay? I chose
God.
Jelinski. So I now sort of have a bit of don't always trust your first instinct. And I feel like in tonight's episode and in last night's episode, I saw her being a little conniving in a way that I liked. She was making promises to people or just at least being open to alliances that, like, didn't necessarily, make sense for her. And also I felt like, I don't know. I feel like she's willing to play the back and forth game in a way that I think could work out for her.
The reason I did not take Shannon is because she is a part of the new Blue Tribe with Steven and Alex. So you have now 2 members at least on that Blue
What
Tribe.
is so
Alex
wrong
Lewis.
with this new Blue Tribe, Tony?
I'm just saying, I think one tribe lasts a little bit longer than the other one, and I'm going with the 2 people who are on season 50 as people that I'm going to be taking on their side of the tribe. But again, Lewis's full team now is Nate, Alex, and Shannon, and TJ, our graphic designer, best described Shannon as Yoda on Dagobah. So congratulations, Alex Lewis. Alex Alche, there are 3 players left here and 3 spots. You have one of them. You have your choice between Matt, the old white guy with dreads, Sophie, not with an eye, and then Christina, who me and Bailey have a real close place in our heart for.
I don't like any of these, just so you all know. But I'm taking the old guy because he's nice, and I feel like people are going to be like, I'm going to team up with him. And then completely just throw him to the wolves at some point. But he'll be around for a bit. So give me Matt.
All right, we have MC, Sage, and Matt for Team Alche. If Team Alche wins season 49, color me surprised. But Aiden, your team.
MC's winning this, first of all. I only need an MC, so it's fine.
Steven, Sophie with an eye, and who is your final pick?
Final pick is going to be Christina.
Yeah.
Dang it!
I know. I was so happy to see she was left. She just seems to really be going for everything. Like the challenges, she puts her all into it. And it seems like she's going to be a good social player. So I'm really excited about Christina.
I do like her.
I like that.
She's really
I like
sweet.
her a lot.
Bailey, that means you are left with the last pick, and you are left with a person that in our preview show you said that she was there for all the wrong reasons.
I still think she's trying to find love, and I stand by it.
But Sophie Sqaured is now on Team Bailey, so you got to support her.
I'm going to. And you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. We haven't gotten to see her that much. So maybe she's going to last a little bit longer. We'll get to know her a little bit more. And in a couple weeks, we're all going to be like, damn, Sophie's the GOAT. Who knows?
Bailey,
Maybe.
you know they can't have 2 Sophies on one show for a long time. That Sophie is gone.
Nah, we're doing things different this time on 49. It's
Sure it is.
all
I will say,
Sophies.
Bailey has been very correct in her predictions so far. She predicted the first person eliminated. Last week we asked who was going to be the next person eliminated. She picked Jeremiah. So Bailey has been more often than not correct. She is a dangerous player in this fantasy draft. And I will also say, on Sophie's behalf, Sophie with an E, not just with an I, I asked Eva Erickson who was her pick to win this whole thing. And she said that Sophie was her dark horse because she was an alternate on season 48. And usually alternates do well. Alternates like MC for Alex Alche and Jason also for Bailey. So that is it for the full first ever Survivor Squared Fantasy Draft. My team, Rizgod and Jawan. Lewis's team, Nate, Alex, and Shannon. Alex Alche's team, MC, Sage, and Matt, a terrible team. Aiden's team is Steven, Sophie with an I, and Christina. And then finally, Bailey's team, Savannah, Jason, and Sophie with an E.
Hell yeah.
Aiden, any last words about your team?
I feel so good. I'm so excited. I feel fantastic.
I'm happy.
Talk to me
you
in
can say that.
7 weeks.
Exactly. Lewis, any thoughts about your team other than you wish you had Savannah?
I do wish I had Savannah. I feel good. I feel like it's a relatively secure team. I feel like I got some safe choices. Might not be the winner on my team, but I do feel like I have one in here that's gonna at least make it far.
Bailey, any last thoughts on Savannah, Jason, and Sophie with an E?
I feel freaking great. I feel amazing. I feel great. I'm so confident. I'm like really excited about this. I can't believe this worked out with 5, 6, and 14, honestly. I can't believe I got Savannah. I'm shocked.
And to close us out, Alex Alche, any thoughts on the team of MC, Sage, and Matt?
I only need one.
Well, technically, no. There's many rules on
No,
this,
but
and
she's going to do a
points matter.
lot throughout. She's going to be winning. She's going to be cunning. She's going to be in Jerry. She's going to be doing it all, baby. So MC is all I need. Matt, I don't know. Sage, probably gone next episode. But, what are you going to do?
Can I say on the record my vote next week for going home, I think, is Matt? I have to say it. Just, I'm putting it out there. That's who my guess is. I've been 2 for 3. We'll see.
Tony, how do
And
you
that-
feel with your twosome over there?
I think Rizgod wins this whole thing. I don't know if I win the league because I need Jawan to do work too. I picked Rizgod first for a reason. I think that little 25-year-old is winning this whole silly thing. But that is it for the 4th episode after the 3rd episode of Survivor.
You might be accruing some longevity points there with Jawan.
Exactly. That's also what I'm thinking. Just take Jawan as far as you can. Have him in that fire challenge at the end, baby. Get me some points. But that is it for this episode, the Survivor Squared's Fantasy Draft. The next episode of Survivor Squared, we will have more guests coming as the season goes on. Plenty of people, plenty of stokes in the fire here. I don't know what phrase I'm trying to say. I'm trying to wrap
Irons.
up an hour and a half of recording me and Bailey have been doing here. But that is it. Goodbye to Jake. Goodbye to Jeremiah. And thank you to you guys for participating in this first ever fantasy draft. And we will see you next week.